So, it's the end of day 4. Today was my rest day. Really, the last 3 days have been exhausting, mentally and really physically. So I slept in. Not too late, but still. In the morning I went down. I played some poker downstairs and came out +11 and was feeling tired again at that point. So I left and I was going to go to the pool. The second I got back to my room to change, I just fell on the bed. I fell asleep and I just slept for a few hours. I just couldn't. I don't know. This place. I think I booked too long to stay here. This place has really, really caught up with me. But I did get up, thankfully, in time for the show tonight. I saw Cirque du Soleil's Ka over at the MGM Grand. And it was interesting. Beforehand, they had like little. They had the equivalent of a really well-organized group of LARPers, outside the theater, and that was kind of neat. Then once you enter the theater for this one, I should say, screwed up. When I bought my ticket, I bought it for the 11th, and it never occurred to me to check the date. Apparently the 11th is when I bought it, and I bought it for that day instead of buying it for the 18th. So when I show up at the ticket office, someone's like, she spots the problem, and thankfully she says that there's one ticket left available, but it was a higher price ticket. It was an additional like $30 or so. So I decided to get it. And they unfortunately, instead of just paying the difference, I had to pay the full price of the new ticket, and they're refunding the price of the old ticket, but that's going to take a few days to hit my bank, which is just annoying. I hate it when, money gets held up like that. Anyway, so I get the ticket, and it ended up being somewhat fortuitous, because when you enter the theater, it's not just a stage. There's walkways and stuff that's part of the set. That's all around you. And I ended up being in the center section, about 15 rows, about the 15th row, and 6 seats in from the aisle. And that was a really good seat. That was a little further back, and it gets harder to see some of the details of the stage, of the action on stage. But then closer, and there ended up being lots of stuff like to the sides and behind that you would completely miss unless you're whipping your neck around every 3 seconds. It was a good seat. It's expensive at $165. So let me say this. I enjoyed it, but I can imagine it's something you have to be in the mood to enjoy. And thankfully, I think mostly because of my nap this afternoon, I had the energy to enjoy it, to give myself over to the experience. And it was this one, the one Ka. It has a story. I'm not going to go into it. It's not an amazing story by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a story. And what I liked about it was that, apart from like a 3-sentence narration at the very beginning, there was no English. There was no English in the show. So and very little speaking in, I don't know if it's a real language they're speaking in or just made up, whatever. Um, so to follow this story, you have to be engaged. It wasn't a terribly difficult story to follow, but you had to reach for it. And I like that. I like that it forced me to stay mentally attached to it, which helped during one or two of the bits that I felt got a little slow. But they mixed it, other than those bits, they really mixed it up. Fast, slow, group interaction versus just one person doing stuff or two people interacting, large set pieces, complicated set pieces, or just a flat surface to do stuff on. It's funny they had at one point they had guys climbing over the seats, and what amazes me about this show is the engineering of it all. It's not like the acrobatic work by the actors is great, but especially they have this moving platform that until about halfway through the show I couldn't figure out exactly how it was constructed because it was moving in ways that it was hard to visualize how it was attached. It's fun, it tilted, it could go from flat to more than 90 degrees up, and it can spin in it. It was, and the way they used it was amazing. And frankly, I'm shocked that they don't have actors dying left and right while performing the show. Especially when there's this one group fight scene where the platform was used to represent a mountain being climbed, and it was spinning and turning and tilting all at the same time, and that this fight choreography is going on, and no one was wearing wires during this part. So, and I'm sure there's a saucer, but imagine how much machinery there is all around, the lower area where people fell to, and there's also like fire. I don't know, whatever. But it was impressively. I don't know. Let me put it this way. After seeing the show, I'm shocked that the highest priced tickets are only $165. I'm shocked. Like, I can't imagine how expensive it is to put this show on, to build that stage, and to spend all this time, getting it right. It's still resonating inside my head. The music was good, if not exceptional. It was just there, and it suited the different moments. And I thought it was nice how they managed to transition from ancient and natural to modern, industrial, and even had a double electric guitar played at some point. But it fit. It was really well thought out, and I'm glad I saw this one, as opposed to the other ones, which I've heard are just like, just circus acts, like, just random, amazing things. So, yeah, I'm very happy that I saw the show. Absolutely. It's a good show. So, anyway, I'm gonna get. After the show, I went to Mandalay and played some poker, and I got nothing. There were two hands out of like 14 that I wanted to play, and I got pushed out of one of them before I called the blind to someone to my right, the god of my right raised me, and I'm not gonna call a raise when I'm holding Queen 9 offsuit. So and I ended up down 7, so I'm +4. for today, which means I am minus 36 so far for the trip. Yeah. Okay. So tomorrow, I'm going to get some sleep now, because tomorrow at 8:45 a.m. I leave for the Hoover Dam, which I'm hoping to be impressed by, but I'm wary that I'm going to be underwhelmed, because I don't know, it's exactly the kind of thing that will amaze some people, and it won't strike me at all, but we'll see.